Since the 14th century, the Dalai Lama has been the spiritual and political leader of Tibetan Buddhism. Following the Buddhist precept that all life is eternal, the Dalai Lama reincarnates every time the current one dies. There have been 14 Dalai Lamas. But now, all that may be coming to an end. The current Dalai Lama, now 80 years old, has said that he may not reincarnate when he passes. It's no small thing to conclude a 700-year process, but in order to save his religion from the dominating influence of China, not reincarnating may be the only option the Dalai Lama has left. Reincarnation has always been an interesting period for the Dalai Lama. After the old one dies, the high priests of Tibetan Buddhism gather to look for signs that will point them in the direction of the person, usually a young child, who is now the Dalai Lama. This time, however, China wants in on the selection process. Their goal, experts suggest, is to pick a child whom they can groom to support the Chinese narrative about Tibet. If they succeed, they could use the new Dalai Lama to quash the fight for Tibetan independence once and for all. So when the current Dalai Lama announced that he might not reincarnate, Chinese officials were outraged and ordered the Dalai Lama to reincarnate. There's an element of absurdity in this, in an officially atheist government commanding the spirit of a religious figure to reincarnate. But the politics are crystal clear. For the current Dalai Lama, those politics are colored by the fresh memory of the Panchen Lama succession in 1995, when the Dalai Lama chose a child for another high position in Tibetan Buddhism. The Chinese rejected his choice, installed a child of their own, and took the original child into their custody. 20 years later, his whereabouts are still unknown. Living in the shadow of such a powerful nation, the elderly Dalai Lama seems to recognize the unifying power he personally has for his people. Ending a 700-year tradition is a bold decision to make, and he still may not make that decision. Nothing is definitive yet. But even if he does, the threat alone has brought the interests of China into stark focus.